It's nice to be here. So first of all, I want to thank all people, very sweet, just coming to me, hey Nino, we're just waiting for your session. That's great. All these things, you are so sweet, so this session is for you, all of you. And especially for people, just stay here. I can tell you that. And the second thing, that's a promise, because a lot of you, they ask actually require about that. We are going to use the chicken way card, so be ready, okay? There will be the moment, there will be the moment. So let's begin in the session. Something about me, I don't want to spend too much time in here, but you can check in LinkedIn. But essentially, I'm really good and expert across integration and security. And what I do in my life is helping people understand more about technology. It can be integration, it can be security, wherever, but that is what I love to do in my life. So feel free to contact me in LinkedIn, wherever for any question or anything you need. Agenda, very simple agenda, but very interesting. So what we are going to do, we are going to examine a real use case scenario for an integration solution, and we will learn to bypass all type of security measure. So we will hack inside this integration solution, and we will understand more about security, and we will explore everything about how to protect us and our company from these type of things. So my goal in this session is more about giving you a much bigger and clear understanding about security. That is the goal of this session. First of all, a disclaimer, we need to do that. It's not a joke. I'm extremely serious. What you are going to see in this session is extremely dangerous, and is actually effective, it can work, and so on. And I don't know if anyone is actually thinking about, oh, I'd like actually to do this or use it. Just think about that, because it's the jail. So usually this is going to end in jail. This is serious, serious stuff, all right? Before starting, I have to say preparing this session was not easy. Quite complicated things to do. And I need to thank to one of the, I would say, most big, crazy, effective hacker I know, Dark Lord. This is a real story. This is my dog, Diego. This is a real story. I'm not joking. This is a picture got my wife during I was working everything. Diego is always with me during I'm working everything, so I just pick up Diego, put Diego in front of the monitor and discussing with him about some of the thing and feature. So, so first of all, what I'm really keen about is this. We really need to understand and learn how to attack in order to master the art of defense. In my life, I've been, I don't know how many of you know about that, I've done many things, but I've also been a trainer, a teacher. I was training people to get in the ring and fight Muay Thai, which is a very dangerous and, you know, little art. So the point is, when you prepare a person to do something like that, you really need to explain them about what is a punch, what you can get, everything, right? So this is the only way you can actually understand much better how you can defend yourself. Security is exactly the same thing. And this is what you are going to do today. First of all, you really need to understand how the dark side of security works in real. That is actually the main three pillars I can tell you about the cybersecurity. You have three categories. You have end user tool. They actually, people using tools. We will see that today. They use tools and other things to hack companies. They usually are employed by organization. They work in data center, all these kind of things. They do this as a job. The second category is the market buyer and seller. They do million, billion. Is a big market. What they do, they buy and sell data, information, tools, all these kind of things. And the third one is the professional hackers. These are really smart people, really technical, deep knowledge. They know what to do, very dark mindset. These are the people that actually build the tools, the effective tools that are going to hack other people. What type of people we are speaking about? We're speaking about the people like this one. You go on YouTube, you can find a lot of them in general, but they do, like you can see, 41 billion, 48 billion. We are speaking for a very large amount of money here. You cannot even imagine the money these people actually do, hacking and selling information. One thing, I don't know how many of you are aware about that. A couple of days ago, Ticketmaster has been hacked. Right? That's serious things. Has been, this news has been released as the most and the biggest data breach in history. We are speaking about a large number of terabytes of data that has been exposed in a dark web. So there are a couple of considerations to make here. One is, if you're using Ticketmaster, go and change your password immediately, because for sure your password now is in the dark web, right now. So do it. And the second thing is, they are being hacked through snowflakes. So this is not even very clear how being happened, the hack, everything. A lot of people are using snowflakes. So this is quite really dangerous things. So how people are actually able to do that? They use a software in general called malware. I know many of you heard about malware. I think all, right? That's good. So you can learn about malware if you want. You can find a lot of software around about malware. This is a link, quite famous database in GitHub. You can find a lot of malware in there. You can go check the code and fix everything, experiment with this. Of course, it's quite dangerous, so you need to use a proper machine, everything like that. But people can actually learn. And a lot of people actually use this kind of technique. They grab malwares, and they grab a piece of malwares, and they build a new malwares, and they use these new malwares again. This is how it's going to work, essentially, apart from the pro. So now, I spent the last 3 years working very deeply and just trying understanding exactly how security works. When I start, I was coming from integration, and I started looking about the penetration testing, offensive security, all these kinds of things. And I started realizing that the problem is bigger than I was thinking. So let's come back now, and let's try to create a scenario. This is the classic scenario we face, all of us in general, integration or wherever. So this is an email, Jack received an email. I hope you are ready for the challenge. We need to build a shiny web solution in Azure, integrate the following. An Azure function handle business logic. Logic app orchestrate a workflow between different services. A web app connected secure SQL database, our data storage, and Azure API management, blah, blah, blah. And don't forget about GenAI, mixed with Azure Cognitive Services for a touch for AI magic for our marketing. Yeah, so it's a big task, but I know you are going to do the job. Let's make this happen. Cheers, the integration team, right? So Jack back and start thinking about how to create this solution. So he start thinking about, let's put a network security group, let's put a network, a virtual network, let's put a Azure private link, an Azure private environment, and let's do also API management, right? Because we need that, web application firewall. And let's put an Azure front door. I'm actually going order to order to order because this is how it's going to work. An express route. And we also have resource group, subscription, and we have management group with role-based access security. We need to create a very strong infrastructure backup, all these kind of things. We have Active Directory Azure ID as what? I know he's changed the name, now he's Enter ID. And we have identity and governance, and we have manage identity, and so on. Very important to use, guys. You know why? Compliance, of course, we need the compliance. Azure Lighthouse for the partners, external partners coming. We need to be very secure, everything. So, and after that, we put Azure Key Vault, conditional access, security center, defender, Azure center. We have the data center. The data center is well protected because there are cameras inside, and there are also bad people inside. They're actually looking, you know, they look about the data center and everything, and we also have a Tom in front looking at this. So our solution is very secure. We use everything. Everything. There's multi-factor authentication. Everything is in there. So that's super secure, right? Okay, job done, team status, integration complete, now officially part of the forum. Yeah, okay. Good job, guys. We did it. We did it. However, after a month, the solution has been released, and Mark from the SOC team is actually discovered that the company data has been leaked in the dark web. Say, what? How this happened? This is exactly, guys, what actually was intriguing me a lot, is how this happened with all this technology, multi-factor authentication, everything on, being hacked. How this happened? That's incredible, right? So, okay, company reputation is ruined, everything is gone. How do you think it's happened? Anyone? Huh? Okay, this was Tommy, super excited about the challenge, everything. This was the developer, blah, 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 running everything. At some point, Tommy, one day, received an email from a legitimate user, everything, asking to check for a web app flow. That's it. He clicked the link. This is happening. This is the way it's actually happening. So I'm going to first explain you how actually this happened so you can understand the scenario, and after that we go slightly to the demo. You can see with your eyes how it's going to work. So the hacker is going to do this. He's going to do open source intelligence first. So he's going to look about the correct people to attack. It's not something like that. He's going to study everything, the company, wherever he needs. When he got the target, he opened a free Azure account. Why Azure? Because he knows the company is using Microsoft Azure. This is why. So I'm using Microsoft Azure. He opened a free account. He created a web app. He created a virtual machine, everything. And after that, he installed in the machine wherever he needs. Machine, it can be a Kali Linux machine. And with that, he sent the email to the target, the developer. I don't know if you notice what I'm doing here. What I'm doing, the hacker is sending an email with a, legitimate website. This is a web app, an Azure web app, nothing more than that, okay? That's a very important point. With that, when Tommy clicks the link is going to redirect, is going to open, go to the web app. Inside the web app, there are some source code that I'm not going to share with you today because it's too dangerous things. And with that, from this code is going to hook inside the virtual machine. Well, in the virtual machine, there are all the tools, everything. What is going to happen, the hacker gets access inside the developer machine. This is how it's working. Simple than that. So let's go inside the demo, because I think it's the best thing to do is just looking about and understand one very important point that a lot of people don't really understand. Is this. This is Visual Studio DevOps. This is, all of us, we are using DevOps, right? Developers, everything. Not many people really realize this. They don't realize that when we log inside a website, it can be Azure, YouTube, DevOps, wherever you want, you use multi-factor authentication, you use wherever you want, and you log in, right? Everything is okay. And after that, you start navigating and do your things. How this happened? How do you think this happened? This happened because cookies, right? Credential must be saved somewhere. because otherwise I should ask the person to log and log again on each page I'm going to change, right? I can't do that. So I need to keep going, be logged inside. This has happened because cookie. So when we log in a website, I'm using DevOps because DevOps is actually our target. If I need to hack a company, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attack a DevOps because I get access in the source code, everything, right? So when I log inside DevOps, I log inside. If we open the developer, inside application, you can see here this one. This one is actually the authentication cookie for Microsoft DevOps. This is what is used by Google Chrome to keep us inside the session and keep navigating. So that is the gold ticket. If I can grab this cookie and I can use this cookie, I don't really care about to be or the username or the password or multi-factor authentication. I don't care. If I grab this cookie, I get inside DevOps as the user. That's it. It's simple than that. And this is how you see around all these people get hacked, right? Like YouTube. I don't know how many of you heard about Linus Tech. 50 million using YouTube, he got hacked. He got hacked exactly in this way. So let's come back now in a real scenario, in a real demo. And so I have here, let's close this one. Let's open this one. This is Beef. At the moment, we are on a middle level of attack. I mean, it's not really super smart people, but it's actually working, perfectly working. So this is Beef. You can use this in Kali Linux. You can find this in Kali Linux or you install in any Linux machine. And we send the email in the other side. So that is the email. If you look at the email, it can be any kind of email. It can be even an email from a legitimate account. Who is a legitimate account? It's maybe another developer or another person inside the company. You say, how these people can actually take this name? Where they find this name? It's very simple. This is what they do. They go in LinkedIn. If I want to hack a Tesla, I want to do this, developer, Tesla. That's it. That's the list. I can start checking names, all these kind of things. These people, the LinkedIn is telling me everything. These people are actually developers in Tesla. And after that, what I do, I start collecting picture, name, everything, and I use a framework like this one. This is open source intelligence framework. It's actually driving you on anything you need, like email addresses. I'm going to check for email addresses. I want to look about if something is good or bad, telephone number, and many other things. And you can find everything, anything you need to do all your investigation for open source intelligence and to get all the information you need from people. When you got this, you can actually be able to identify the target and say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. But this is the pure, simple art of hacking, the real challenge. The real challenge is not just a technical thing, it's more about get this click. You need to be so smart, and some people, they really smart because they stay there, they study you, they study the company, they study the people, everything, and they craft the email, they craft the attack in a perfect way. So in this case, it's a good email. This one is being produced by a DevOps, everything. The bad thing is, if I look in this link, is actually a web app. It's a web app DNS. How you can actually understand that this not even belonging to my company? Right? You know what I mean, guys? So it's very complicated to understand in a situation like that. And if the person click the link, boom, it's open. Okay, cool. So what's happened here? If I go, hopefully, yeah, look, you see this? This IP address on top? That's the IP address of the machine. The browser you see, this one, Beef, is in the cloud, everything. This is the attacker machine. And now the attacker is actually able to see a lot of information inside. Type of browser, many other things, but the scary part is this. There are a lot of things that actually the attacker can do. There is scripting, finger browsing, remote hook element, a lot of things. He can even take picture with this one. He can do an execute here. He can take the picture about what the person is actually doing, all these kind of things. So it's quite scary, right? If you think about something like that. It's something, and one of the most dangerous things is this one. It's like, for example, he can actually redirect the browser. He's actually, doing things. He can do wherever he wants in the machine. So think about, I'm going to redirect this guy to a malicious, even more malicious website. So he's gonna click this, boom. And the guy's boom, redirecting the other website, right? So one thing is missing here, even more. Let's raise the bar now. Let's raise the bar. Okay, now we got this attack. This happened quite often, type of attack. A lot of people are using these kind of tools to do things. But one thing is about, and that was my question, it was always intriguing me. But how is possible people can actually take this token or get this token? Is it even possible? Yeah, it is. It's not easy. I can tell you it's not easy, luckily, but it's actually possible. So it is possible actually to get the token from the Google Chrome Vault, get the token, decrypt the token, because the token you get in Google Chrome in the Vault is being encrypted. So you need to decrypt the token, and after that you can actually use the token to access to the website. So that is actually a real thing. This is a script I created I use Python for automation. Hackers don't use Python to hack, all right? So let's just put this statement. Don't use Python because you must have Python in the machine to hack the machine, right? So this is not okay. Usually hackers use PowerShell, VBScript, .NET, C++. This is the most used, right? So in this script, I use a mixer between PowerShell and other things and VBScript. And the list you see now, I actually got access inside the Google Vault, and I actually see all the token inside. So you can see here, there is my token about chatgpt.com. This is my token from chatgpt.com. Login Microsoft Online. That's a good thing, is I can actually access to see all the token inside, Visual Studio, all the things. So, I mean, the quite scary part about this is what I can do now with this token. Right, look at this one. I am sure a lot of people using integration, they recognize this token, right? Okay, so what I can do now, I can do this. I created a script which is actually going to do another things. I'm going to use and get exactly the token for DevOps. I want to see if I'm able to access inside DevOps. So I execute this one. Okay, credential are valid. Now I'm listing. What you see here, this is all my project inside DevOps. And all of this is all the repo and all the project. So I actually got access inside DevOps. And I use the token inside Google Vault. So this is how it's going to work at the attack. Simple than that. So click the link, execute wherever you need to execute, get inside the Google Vault, get the token, everything. This token, by the way, is valid for 7 days. just for your information, all right? So you take the token and you use the token. That's it. And you get in DevOps. So this is serious things. I'm sure you understand about that. This is quite serious stuff. Let me put this one in front because, okay. Do you remember 2-3 years ago I was mentioning you about API? 70% of the web traffic actually belonging to API. It's true. It's true. It's the 70%. But you also need to know that from the last IS3 report from FBI, 90% of all the attack to the companies are actually belonging to email. The attack I just show you. What that means. This is what I want you to understand. I want you to understand this, that we can use a lot of these technologies, everything, and that's good. We have to use this if we want to protect our solution. We have to. That is our homework. It's good. Do it. We have. However, this is just the 10% of the 90% of all the other things. So wherever you are going to spend a lot of time about API management, firewall is good. We have to do this kind of thing. But you need to keep in mind that the threat, the percentage of attack we may face is just the 10%. 90% is coming from anything else, and especially from what I actually show you today. So it is not good to hide our head in the sand, because a lot of people are doing that, and this is a chicken way. So we did it. I put the chicken way card. I have to. So that's the important message. The important message is, guys, we are the first and the very last line of defense of the company. It is true. It's not our firewall. It is us. We are the very last line of defense of the company. So, first, the best practice, how you can protect yourself from this. This is very scary. Do you agree with me? Yeah? How much scary it is between 1 to 100? 100. Because that was my mission. It was about scare you. Because this is the problem when people tell other people, oh, you can get hacked. How? You receive an email and you click the link, but how they can access to my DevOps? How is possible? Or my Azure portal? This is the way. So how I can protect myself, especially for something like so smart? Okay, first things first. Please don't use company account to access to Azure developer resources. How many years I'm using this sentence? 3, 4? I don't remember. But you should know about that. Okay? I'm not joking. This is so serious. This is the configuration I see in so many companies. People are using the company account to access to Outlook, DevOps, Azure portal, all these kind of things. Stop it. Because this is the way you get hacked. And if your question in your mind, I know this is the question in your mind. The question in your mind is, oh, well, but I've never been hacked, until now. You know why? I tell you why. Because maybe the profile of your company or your person is not very interested for organization at the moment. But nobody, can change this, and someone actually decided to say, hey, this company is actually really good. They have a lot of information. Let's get hacked these guys, right? So this is the solution. The solution is one account for Outlook, one account for development, one account for administration in Microsoft Azure, or wherever it is. That is the solution. Period. There is nothing more than has to say. Segregation of responsibility then. So use different account for different portal, different tool, and so on. Advanced detection for user behavior, all these kind of things. Not easy, because user today is not really easy to, understand a scenario like this one. This one specifically is very tricky to get, right? It's not very easy, not very easy. So, but that's very important to use, and of course, use a strong naming convention. But let's go back because I really want to give you some really realistic solution, right, to this kind of thing. So, use different account, but most important, you need to be and consolidate this. You must be solid in your security. How you can be solid in your security? You are integration expert. Use integration for that. That is one solution, for example, because there is nothing in Azure now able to drive you on this for account everything, but that is a very good solution, for example, where you can, for each new account created, you monitor this with Microsoft Sentinel Analytics. You can even use Event Grid, right? And other things in Azure, but you can use, this one is something I think quite easy to use. And from this, for each new account, you call a logic app. I put OpenAI here because artificial intelligence, I believe, is very good for these kind of things, where you actually use artificial intelligence side to get the context, everything, understand, is this okay as account? If it's not, it's going to block the account using Microsoft Graph API and notify the SOC team. That's it. That's it. But at least you start keeping control and use something to control user, the creation of the user, everything in a proper way. So this is solid. This is solid. Second thing is, I don't know how many of you are aware about Defender for Office 365. That's a beast. This is serious things. There's a lot of things inside Defender for Office 365. One of the good things is the possibility to create a policy rule and so on. So for example, we can create a policy rule for each email got from the company containing something that it can be an Azure resource endpoint. If something happened, we use OpenAI to go into Graph API with Azure function, going to check is actually this link is belonging to the company or not. If it's not, we are going to lock everything. And we notify the SOC team about that. That's another thing we can implement inside the company. So the message about this is that we have everything we need to act and trying to protect. I'm not guaranteeing you that is going to work for everything, because believe me, if they decide to hack a company, it's almost a matter of time. However, if we do our job properly, and especially for these things, okay, we can skip a lot of problems. So, last things, phishing campaign. That's okay, do phishing campaign, but it's so impersonal. I'm receiving, even myself, I'm receiving email every 2-3 days with crazy links. What's the point? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, phishing. Is this really useful? Do you think it's really useful? I mean, it's not so much. So what I recommend you, please, organize training for your people with expert. And one thing I think is working a lot, do games. Do games with people, everything. Organize things, jokes, you know, sending email, all this kind of stuff. Try understanding so they understand exactly, you know, the scenario, how you did today. So this is everything for me and from Diego. So thank you so much for being here.